The Celtics lost last night, which is sort of a surprise, seeing as how they've been beating everybody since Rajon Rondo got hurt and tore his ACL. That was their first loss in their last 8 games, and there are a whole host of theories flying around about why the Celtics have been so successful lately. Mainly, the big theory around Boston is that they're better without Rajon Rondo. This is interesting to me since last year Rondo got MVP votes on the theory that he was making everybody else around him better. So clearly, he hasn't lost this magical ability to do this. So let's dig in and see what's really going on here with the Celtics winning streak. Here's a theory. The Celtics are playing better and winning games because they've been at home. The numbers seem to bear this out. At home, they're 19-9. On the road, they're 8-15. They're outscoring opponents by about 6 points a game at home, and they're losing by about 6 points per game per 100 possessions on the road. Their schedule has really worked out in their benefit. They've played teams like the Nuggets, who came in at 2 o'clock in the morning after a game the night before. They beat the Lakers, who were at the end of a 7-game road trip and without Gasol. They beat the Clippers without Chris Paul. This is not taking anything away from what they've been doing, but they have benefited from a bit of from their schedule. We're going to see really how this plays out after the AllStar break. They go on the road for 5 straight games, all on the West Coast. They have 2 home games after the break by March 13th. So we're going to find out a lot about them after the AllStar break. Here's another theory. The Celtics are winning because they're playing better defense without Rondo. Everybody knows the whole Rondo gamble thing. He likes to gamble for steals. He's not quite the on-the-ball defender that he used to be. And the Celtics are playing Courtney Lee and Avery Bradley, 2 very good defenders, without Rondo around. Well, this one doesn't really wash. If you look at the numbers closely, the Celtics actually started playing better defense in January when Avery Bradley came back. So let's give Bradley some credit on that one. Offensively, here's the new theory. The Celtics are playing much better without a ball-dominant point guard who makes all the decisions and keeps everyone in check and does everything he wants to do at the expense of other players. This might actually have some bearing, although let's be very careful about the small sample size. If you look at what they've done offensively in February, look at that, 105.2 points per 100 possessions. They're averaging about 96 possessions per game. That's like what the Houston Rockets do. They're playing much faster. The ball's moving much more. Anyone who watches the game can see this, and the numbers are bearing this out. If we look at a couple of players, Paul Pierce, Jeff Green, and Jason Terry. Paul Pierce, in the last 8 games without Rondo, is averaging 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists per game. This is the Paul Pierce that we were used to seeing back in the day. He's doing a little bit of everything. The problem is that he's averaging about 37, 38 minutes a game, and there's a question as to how long he can keep this up. The whole point of turning the offense over to Rondo at the beginning of the year was not to wear Pierce out during the regular season. Jason Terry, here's a good one. Jason Terry has actually gone on record about saying how the Celtics' new offensive look actually benefits him, and the numbers do bear this out. Without Rondo, he's shooting over 50%. He's making almost 40% of his threes, averaging 13 points, 3 assists. It's hard to make the argument that Terry hasn't been better with Rondo out of the lineup. And that's something that's really important for the Celtics because they need someone who can come in and score like Terry does. Jeff Green is the other one people are pointing to, and this one I'm not quite so sold on. Without Rondo, Jeff Green is shooting over 50%. He's making 50% of his threes, averaging 14.5 points. This is great. This is what everybody wanted out of Jeff Green. And with Rondo, not as much. Here's the thing, though. Jeff Green's numbers have always sort of fluctuated in these small sample sizes. So let's see how he does after 20 games, after 25 games, before we make a definitive statement that Jeff Green is better without Rondo. And this is really what this all comes down to. We want to rush to make judgments all the time. We want to say that a player is the greatest thing they've ever seen or the worst thing they've ever seen or he's a bum or he's a bust or any of this kind of stuff. Let's see how this plays out, especially now. It sounds like they're going to be without Leandro Barbosa. They have only 9 healthy players, if we're not counting Fab Melo, which we're not really. So the Celtics have got a lot of work to do. They've gotten themselves back on track. It's admirable. It's great. Everybody's excited about how they're playing. But we're going to see in the next few months how much they actually do miss Rondo.